Good morning. We are starting our next chapter in religion. We just finished with chapter 8. Instead of moving right on into chapter 9 in our handbook, they have us taking a break from the handbook for a chapter, and we're going to do chapter A. Chapter A is in the Bible. We are going to be learning about different patriarchs in the Bible. So this chapter, we're reading different passages from Genesis, and we're going to be learning about some patriarchs like Abraham and Jacob and Joseph. So we're learning about those big patriarchs in the Bible. So if you are at home and you do not have a Bible with you, it is okay, because I, being the awesome teacher that I am, I have made pages of what our readings are. So you will see under today's assignment for Monday, January 24th, we have our reading guide. We also have the Genesis readings that we are doing, so you can be reading along. So if you are in class right now and tomorrow you have to stay home and you can't do the reading, it's okay. We will be doing it. You can read along if you don't have a Bible at home. I have attached the Bible readings for you. All right, so today we are starting with that first section. We have some keywords and definitions. A patriarch, I said we're learning about different patriarchs in the Bible. The patriarch is the male head of a family or tribal line. A sacrifice is the offering of an animal, plant, or human life to God. Inheritance is the property or promise that's passed to the heir at the owner's death. And famine is extreme and general lack of food. So we have those different words that are going to come up in the Bible as we are reading. So let's pass out the reading guide. Who are my paper passers? Who's the paper passer in this group? Paper passer. So if you have your Bible with you here in class, we're going to be opening up to our first reading is Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 to 9. So find Genesis chapter 12. So it's on page 37. So in your Bible, page 37, chapter 12 starts with the 12. We're reading just verses 1 to 9. Thank you. The Lord said to Abram, "Go forth from your land, your relatives, and from your father's house to a land that I will show you. I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. All the families of the earth will find blessing in you." Abram went as the Lord directed him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. Abram took his wife Sarah, his brother's son Lot, all the possessions that they had accumulated, and the persons they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abram passed through the land as far as the sacred place at Shechem, by the oak of Moreh. The Canaanites were then in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your descendants I will give this land." So Abram built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he moved on the hill country east of Bethel, pitching his tent with Bethel to the west and Ai to the east. He built an altar there to the Lord and invoked the Lord by name. Then Abram journeyed on by stages to the Negev. So we're going to stop there and we're going to read chapter 22. So Genesis, still in Genesis, same book, but go to chapter 22. So page 50. The testing of Abraham. Does anybody know what test? Who knows the story of Abraham? What test does he get? Gregory?
Being asked to sacrifice his son.
Being asked to sacrifice his son. So let's read about it. Sometime afterward, God put Abraham to the test and said to him, Abraham, here I am, he replied. Then God said, take your son Isaac, your only one whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah. There, offer him up as a burnt offering on one of the heights that I will point out to you. Early the next morning, Abraham saddled his donkey, took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac, and after cutting the wood for the burnt offering, set out for the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day, Abraham caught sight of the place from a distance. Abraham said to his servants, stay here with the donkey while the boy and I go on over there. We will worship and then come back to you. So Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac.
Please excuse this interruption. All band lessons and group band have been canceled for today. All band lessons and group band. So students, you will not be leaving your classroom for band, and after school students, you will not have band. Please plan accordingly. Talk to your teacher if you need to call home at a good time. Thank you.
So Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and laid it on his son Isaac, while he himself carried the fire and the knife. So think about that foreshadowing. Isaac is going to be sacrificed, and he's carrying the wood on his back that they're going to use for the sacrifice. Who does that remind you of? Jesus. Okay, it's a foreshadowing of something that's to come. The Bible is filled with these, where you can see a glimpse of something that's going to happen. As the two walked on together, Isaac spoke to his father Abraham. Father, he said. Here I am, he replied. Isaac continued, here are the fire and the wood, but where is the sheep for the burnt offering? My son, Abraham answered, God will provide the sheep for the burnt offering. Then the two walked on together. When they came to the place of which God had told him, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. Next, he bound his son Isaac and put him on top of the wood on the altar. Then Abraham reached out and took the knife to slaughter his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Here I am, he answered. Do not lay your hand on the boy, said the angel. Do not do the least thing to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you did not withhold from me your son, your only one. Abraham looked up and saw a single ram caught by its horns in the thicket. So Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham named that place Yahweh Yireh. Hence people today say, on the mountain of the Lord will provide. A second time the angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven and said, I swear by my very self, oracle of the Lord, that because you acted as you did in not withholding from me your son, your only one, I will bless you and make your descendants as countless as the stars of the sky and the sands of the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the gates of their enemies, and in your descendants all the nations of the earth will find blessing, because you obeyed my command. Abraham then returned to his servants, and they set out together for Beersheba, where Abraham lived. Sometime afterward, the news came to Abraham, Milcah too has borne sons to your brother Nahor. Uz his firstborn, his brother Buz, Kemuel the father of Aram, Chesed, Hazo, Pildash, Didlap, and Bethuel. Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. His concubine, whose name was Remuah, also bore children, Tabah, Gam, Tahash, and Maskah. So that's the end of chapter 22. Rebecca is going to play a big role in this, so we need to know her name. She's going to come back later in the stories. Why do you think Abraham was willing to sacrifice his son Isaac? Because we think about that, oh my goodness, as a mom, I can't imagine being tested like that. Thinking about having to sacrifice my child. Why do you think Abraham was able to do that, Peyton?
Because he trusts God.
Yeah, he had faith in God. God was telling him to do this, and he knew that God would take care of him, God would provide, and it would be okay. And did God take care of him? Yeah. He said, I was testing you. I wanted to see if you would follow through with my command, and you did. You were willing to do it, your only son. So here, instead of sacrificing Isaac, sacrifice the ram. So we need to think about those sacrifices that God is asking us to make. He's not asking that big of a sacrifice from us. Okay? He's asking for us to put him first, just as Abraham put God first. He's asking for us to put God first. So we have the first part of our reading guide. We've got 4 matchings, multiple choice that you need to do. So do the 4 multiple choice, and then we have an activity based on the sacrifice that Abraham was called to make. I have one of these papers online, and I have a handout for us here in class. So we need to identify our willingness to give back to God, even those things that are important to us. Abraham was giving back his son. What can we give up to God? As we read in Genesis, Abraham loved his son Isaac very much, but he loved God more. What do you think Abraham felt when God asked him to sacrifice his son? How do you think that made Abraham feel? Nick?
Like, not good inside, like
Good.
scared.
Yeah, not good inside. Scared, sad. He was upset, but he knew it's what he had to do. Why do you think Abraham was willing to sacrifice Isaac, Landon? We talked about this already. Why was he willing to sacrifice? Gregory? Yeah, he trusted God. He had faith in God. As hard as it is for us to understand, Abraham knew that God, who gave him his son, would give him everything he would ever need, even if it was without the son that he loved. Abraham showed great trust in God by his willingness to obey God, even if it meant sacrificing his son. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Never rely on what you think you know. Trust in the Lord. Even though you think, oh my goodness, this is awful. Oh my goodness, I can't live without it. Oh my, trust in the Lord. In the box, well, at home, you're going to put it in the box. Here in school, we can write or draw pictures above the altar. So I want you to think about what are some things that you love, that are important to you. I want you to focus on things and not people. Okay, focus on the things that are important. And then you're going to circle the things that you would be willing to sacrifice for God. What could you give up for God? Abraham was willing to give up his son. What can you give up for God? And trust in God that you will be taken care of. So at home, you're going to do this digitally and submit it. In class, we're going to work on the paper copy. So I'm going to say goodbye to my friends at home and hope you are doing well. And we hope to see you soon.